January 29th, 1945, 2:47 in the afternoon. A frozen Belgian village called Holzheim. First Sergeant Leonard Funk rounds the corner of an old farmhouse. His boots crunch to a halt. 90 German soldiers are staring straight at him. Half of them are already clutching weapons. The rest are grabbing rifles from a growing pile in the blood-stained snow. 4 American Gs kneel nearby, hands locked behind their heads, faces pale with terror. 20 minutes ago, these Germans were prisoners. 80 of them captured by Funk's own company during the assault on this village. 4 guards were all he could spare to watch them. Now every single prisoner is free, armed, and organizing to attack Company C from behind. A German officer storms toward Funk. He rams an MP-40 submachine gun directly into Funk's stomach. He screams something in German. Funk doesn't understand a single word. The officer screams again, louder, veins bulging in his neck, face turning purple with fury. Funk looks at the 90 Germans, looks at his 4 captured soldiers, looks at the cold steel pressed against his gut, and he starts laughing. The German officer's expression twists from confusion to pure rage. He screams even louder. Funk laughs even harder. What happens in the next 60 seconds will leave 21 Germans dead on the ground. The rest will throw their weapons down and beg to surrender. And Leonard Funk will earn the Medal of Honor for one of the most unbelievable acts of combat courage in all of World War II. All because he could not stop laughing. Leonard Alfred Funk Jr. came into this world on August 27, 1916, Braddock Township, Pennsylvania. A steel town where smokestacks and foundries wind the Monongahela River 8 miles east of Pittsburgh. He grew up fast, learned responsibility young. By high school graduation in 1934, he had already spent years caring for his younger brother while the Great Depression crushed the nation around them. June 1941. War consumes Europe and Asia. Congress extends the draft. Funk's number gets called. He reports to the induction center at Wilkinsburg, Pennsylvania, 24 years old, 5 feet 5 inches tall, 140 pounds. The Army examiner probably figured him for desk duty. They figured wrong. Funk volunteered for the paratroopers. In 1941, American airborne forces barely existed. The whole concept sounded suicidal to most soldiers. Jumping from perfectly good aircraft to fight surrounded behind enemy lines. But the volunteers were different. Airborne training was designed to shatter men. 5 brutal weeks of running, climbing, falling, with half the candidates washing out. Then the jump towers. Then the aircraft. The first time stepping out of a C-47 at 1,200 feet. Every instinct screaming to grab the doorframe and hold on. Funk earned his wings. Got assigned to Company C, 1st Battalion, 508th Parachute Infantry Regiment. They shipped to England in late 1943, joining the legendary 82nd Airborne Division. Then came Normandy, June 6, 1944, 1:30 in the morning. Funk stood in the stick of paratroopers, 60 pounds of equipment strapped to his body. Thompson submachine gun, ammunition, grenades. The C-47 shuddered as flak exploded everywhere. The aircraft flew at 400 feet, far too low for a safe jump, but the pilots could not climb. German anti-aircraft fire lit up the night like angry fireflies. The green light flashed. Funk jumped. He landed hard. His ankle twisted on impact, badly sprained, possibly fractured. The pain was immediate and savage. But he could walk. He could fight. That was all that mattered. He was 40 miles from his drop zone, 40 miles of German-held territory, alone in the darkness. Within hours, Funk had gathered 18 lost paratroopers from scattered units. For 10 straight days, he led them through enemy territory, traveling by night, hiding by day, fighting when necessary. He insisted on serving as lead scout despite his mangled ankle, placing himself in the most dangerous position to protect his men. They reached Allied lines on June 17th. Every single man survived. Not one casualty. 10 days behind enemy lines. 40 miles through occupied France. Leonard Funk brought them all home. The Silver Star followed. Then a Bronze Star, then his first Purple Heart, but Funk was just getting started. September 17th, 1944, Operation Market Garden, the largest airborne assault in history. 35,000 paratroopers dropping into the Netherlands to seize a chain of bridges. Everything depended on speed and surprise. Everything went wrong. But Funk focused only on his mission. After landing, he spotted 3 German 20mm anti-aircraft guns firing at incoming Allied gliders carrying vital reinforcements. The gun position sat on high ground, defended by approximately 20 German soldiers behind sandbags and camouflage. Funk had 3 men. Standard doctrine demanded a 3-to-1 advantage to assault-prepared positions. Funk faced 7-to-1 odds against him. He attacked anyway. Leading from the front, Funk and his 3-man patrol stormed the position. They killed the security detachment and neutralized all 3 guns and their crews. 20 Germans, 3 Americans, the guns went silent. The gliders landed safely. The Distinguished Service Cross followed. Second highest decoration for valor. December 1944 brought the Battle of the Bulge. German forces launched their final desperate offensive. 400,000 men, 1,400 tanks. Brutal cold that froze soldiers in their foxholes. Then came news that changed everything. Normandy, December 17th. SS troops had captured 113 American soldiers near the Bagnez crossroads. They herded them into a farmer's field. Then they opened fire. Machine guns, pistols, rifles. 84 Americans murdered in cold blood. Men who had surrendered in good faith, executed like animals and left to freeze. When Funk heard about the massacre, something inside him hardened into iron. Leonard Funk decided he would never surrender to the Germans, no matter the odds. That decision would matter in exactly 6 weeks. January 29, 1945. Company C received orders to capture Holzheim. They were severely understrength. The executive officer had been killed. Funk, now acting executive officer, looked at his depleted roster and made a bold decision. He walked into the company headquarters tent. Clerks, supply personnel, cooks, men who had never seen combat. "You are all infantry now," Funk told them. "Grab your weapons." He formed a makeshift platoon of 30 men and led them 15 miles through waist-deep snow and a blinding blizzard. German artillery exploded around them the entire march. They reached Holzheim and cleared it house by house. 15 buildings. Germans in every one. Funk and his makeshift warriors captured 30 prisoners without losing a single American. Another unit captured 50 more. 80 prisoners total, corralled in a farmhouse yard. Funk could only spare 4 guards. The rest of the village still needed clearing. "Keep them here," he told the guards. Then he headed back into the fight. While Funk cleared the remaining resistance, a German patrol approached the farmhouse. Wearing white camouflage, they looked almost identical to American troops in winter gear. Before the 4 guards realized the danger, they were overwhelmed and disarmed. 90 Germans now stood armed and organizing. They knew exactly what to do. Attack Company C from behind while they were scattered and vulnerable? That was the moment Leonard Funk walked around the corner. When that German officer shoved his MP-40 into Funk's stomach and screamed for surrender, Funk remembered Normandy. He remembered 84 Americans murdered in a frozen field. He had already sworn he would never surrender. So he laughed. Nobody knows exactly why. Maybe tactical deception. Maybe his brain cracking under impossible pressure. Maybe genuine dark humor at the absurdity of death. Funk himself later said he tried to stop but could not. The German officer was completely thrown off. Prisoners do not laugh. They beg, they plead, they comply. For several critical seconds, the officer froze in confusion. Funk used those seconds. Still appearing to laugh, he slowly reached for his Thompson submachine gun slung over his shoulder. The German officer relaxed slightly. The American was finally surrendering his weapon. Then Funk moved, one fluid motion. The Thompson swung down. The muzzle aligned. The trigger squeezed. The first burst caught the German officer in the chest. 30 rounds in under 3 seconds. Dead before he hit the ground. Funk pivoted, still firing. Men screamed. Men fell. Blood sprayed across the snow. The magazine ran dry. 2 seconds to reload. 2 seconds that should have killed him. Funk slammed a fresh magazine home, racked the bolt, and kept shooting. Muscle memory. Thousands of training hours compressed into one heartbeat. He screamed at his men, "Pick up their weapons! Pick up their weapons!" The 4 guards scrambled for fallen rifles. Seconds ago they were prisoners. Now they were fighting for survival. 60 seconds. 21 Germans dead. 24 wounded. The rest threw down their weapons and surrendered. Leonard Funk stood amid the carnage, smoke rising from his Thompson, surrounded by bodies. That, he told his men, was the stupidest thing I have ever seen. September 5, 1945, the White House. President Harry Truman placed the Medal of Honor around Leonard Funk's neck. "I would rather have this medal," Truman said, "than be President of the United States." Final count of Leonard Funk's decorations. Medal of Honor. Distinguished Service Cross. Silver Star, Bronze Star. 3 Purple Hearts. The Croix de Guerre from France. The Order of Leopold from Belgium. The Military Order of William from the Netherlands. The most decorated paratrooper of World War II, 5 feet 5 inches tall, 140 pounds. The war ended. Funk went home. He never wrote a book, never did lecture tours, never cashed in on his fame. He got a job with the Veterans Administration and spent 27 years helping other veterans navigate paperwork and disability claims. The same quiet, unglamorous work he might have done before the war. November 20th, 1992. Leonard Alfred Funk Jr. died of cancer at 76 years old. They buried him at Arlington National Cemetery. Section 35. Grave 23,734. At his death, he was the last surviving Medal of Honor recipient from the 82nd Airborne Division in World War II. Most people have never heard of Leonard Funk. They know Audie Murphy. They know Alvin York. They do not know the short, quiet paratrooper who laughed at 90 Germans and killed 21 of them with a Tommy gun. War does not favor the big. It does not favor the strong. It favors those who keep thinking when everyone else has stopped. Courage is not about size or strength or training. Courage is what you do when there is a gun pressed against your stomach and 90 men want you dead.